Hi guys, it's Misty from the Book Rat, and it is past time for my July Rewind. So this is a look back at the things I read in July with a quick thumbs up, thumbs down rating, and a little bit on why. I didn't get a ton of reading done in July, but for the most part, what I did read I really enjoyed. Links to all the books, of course, will be in the info, so you can check all of them out there if you are curious about them. So here are the books. First up, I finished up a book that I had started reading in June, which is The Kiss of Deception by Mary E. Pearson. This one is out now, so all of you that were panting after it every time I talked about it, you can pick it up. And I would recommend you do. I definitely liked it. There is a little bit of a sort of twist thing going on, which I was kind of oblivious to. I just wasn't paying attention. I don't normally read chapter headings unless they're kind of silly or long and funny and weird. I don't know why, I just kind of, my eyes glaze over, I skip them. But this is told in alternating viewpoints, and you know who the viewpoint is by the chapter header. Okay, so there are three characters: the main character, a prince, and an assassin. Sometimes the chapter headers will say prince or assassin, and sometimes they'll say actual names of the men, and I wasn't paying attention to that. I was just reading and kind of going along with my preconceived notions of which one was the prince and which one was the assassin, and kind of treating it like it was a given, until I suddenly realized, like, wait a minute, it's never been named. I thought that was really kind of interesting. I like how it plays with your own kind of biases and preconceptions. Really kind of interesting. Whether it will surprise you, I don't know. It depends on how suspicious of a person you are, I think. Nothing ever really tends to surprise me, but the fact that I wasn't paying attention and didn't notice that did surprise me. I kind of went back and flipped through and was like, wait a minute. So I thought that was really interesting. And that was what made the three viewpoints work for me, because in the beginning I was like, I don't really want these other viewpoints. I just want to stick with the story. But once I kind of realized where it was going, that made it work, and I liked it. Definitely curious to see where book 2 goes. And then I picked up Through the Woods by Emily Carroll, which I mentioned in the haul where I showed it that I was going to need to pick it up as soon as I was possibly able, and that was true. It is a graphic novel, so of course it was a very quick read. Just read it before bed one night, which, maybe wouldn't recommend if you are easily scared, because it is, kind of creepy, dark stories. It reminded me a lot of the Alvin Schwartz Scary Stories books that I loved as a kid. Same sort of approach to the stories, same sort of twists and manipulations, and just really had that feel. So I kind of liked it on a nostalgia basis. It sort of hit those buttons and reminded me of the things that I loved when I was a kid. I was a big scary story person when I was a kid. That was all I read for a long time, was scary stories, to the point that one of my neighbors told my mom that she needed to stop me from reading them because she thought I was going to be like this warped, sick person. I liked Goosebumps, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. Are You Afraid of the Dark had some good stuff going on. Like, that's part of being a kid, is scary stories around the campfire. That's what we do. I guess it's how you start confronting things. I don't know. Whatever. I haven't mass murdered any masses, so it's fine. Anyway, this was fun. Does get a thumbs up. I guess I would have liked a little bit more from it, but couldn't really tell you what it is that I would have liked from it. Maybe it just felt overly simple because it did remind me of those books from when I was a kid, or because I could always predict that there's going to be a twist. That's how this works. That's the formula. But that being said, they were always interesting. I loved the art. I loved the pacing and the sort of historical vibe that it had going on most of the time, and it was just neat. Good, fun, creepy, quirky graphic novel. And of course I had to read the July Wednesday YA winner, which was Scarlet by A.C. Gauguin, which loved. I really liked Scarlet's narration. I liked her voice and sort of how the story was presented. I love the Robin Hood sort of mythos, and I love stories that take that on, and I can be a little bit easy to please in that regard, so that, I'm sure, helped me love this the way I did. But weird enough, this one actually surprised me, and I don't know how. Like, I think I was just so into the storytelling and into the character of Scarlet that I wasn't even trying to kind of piece things together and puzzle things out, and a twist that I should have saw coming, I was completely blindsided by, and that never happens. It is very YA, so if things about YA like love triangles or sort of moody emo guys, or over-the-top villains, anything like that, if those things kind of bother you, this might not be the book for you. Those things often bother me, but for this I felt kind of worked. Robin Hood as a historical figure and this sort of grandiose, self-important things that he does kind of lends himself well to being that moody, brooding, emo character, so I was able to kind of forgive things, and I liked that Scarlet called him out on things. That really worked for me. Whenever you have your tropes that you fall back on, but you confront them, that will always pull it around for me. I would have liked a little more subtlety, I think, in Gisborne. Maybe a little less sort of gleeful, murderous intentions. You know, just some shades in there. Always makes it more interesting for me, but basically, I loved it, and I tore through it, and I definitely want the second book. I also read Julia's House for Lost Creatures by Ben Hockey. Or I should say I had it read to me by my favorite 6-year-old. Of course, there was no way I was going to wait on this one. I love Ben's storytelling and I love his artwork, so this one had to happen and had to happen soon. And of course, I'm glad it did. I loved it. Great first picture book from First Second Books. Great first picture book from Ben. Great picture book for your kids or your school library, whatever. It was just great. And lastly, I read about half of One Man Guy by Michael Barakiva. Not even half, I shouldn't say. I've kind of put this one on the back burner. I'm not going to give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down because I haven't read enough to kind of make that call. I liked it, and it's cute and it's charming and engaging, and when I would read it, I would move through very quickly. But I noticed that when I would put it down, I would completely forget about it. And I mean completely. Like, I would be looking around for, like, what book am I going to read next? And kind of debating and picking things up and reading a little snippet to see which was going to kind of capture my attention. And then it would hit me and I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm reading One Man Guy. And that happened over and over and over. Which, even though it was cute, that doesn't bode well for my sort of connection to the book. So I don't know if it's just my sort of distracted state of mind right now, or it wasn't what I was craving, because there was nothing in it that I didn't necessarily like. So I've just decided to kind of give this a fair chance rather than forcing it on myself and getting mad at it for not being what I wanted right now. So I just kind of put it on the back burner, and I'm going to give it another try later. But I will say, from what I've read so far, I think I am going to like it, and I think if you like cute contemporary, you'll like it too. And that was the extent of my July reading. Not nearly as much as I wanted to get done. You'll notice there was nothing Jane Austen related in that pile. That's bad. But it happens, and I'm off to a good start in August, so whatever. Maybe I'm finally over the slump. And guess what got me over the slump? Jane Austen. I would just listen to myself. Solve so many problems. That was all. Let me know what you think of the books in the comments, and if you have read or want to read any of them, and let me know how your month of reading went in July. If you'd care to see what I'm reading in August, you can check that out here. And if you are a hardcore Janeite, make sure to join me for Austen in August at the end of this month. And I'm open to guest blogs and vlogs, so if you really are a hardcore Janeite, get a hold of me, let me know. But that's all for now. As always, thanks for watching and happy reading!